Welcome back to Bay Area Vista. I'm Janice Edwards. During these tough economic times, it's always good to have some great advice. Motivational speaker and author Darren Jacklin was once depressed, suicidal, and heavily in debt. So he's back with us today with some suggestions on additional steps to take if you're struggling with money issues and unemployment right now. Darren, nice to have you with us again.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Now, I told a little bit of your backstory. It's good to know when you're giving advice to other people, it's something you've dealt with personally. So what happened to get you from being heavily in debt to a place of success?
One of the key things I looked at was my environment, is who I was surrounding myself with and spending time with, because who you hang out with, who you spend time with is who you become. And I was hanging out with people who were heavily depressed, negative, complaining all the time, playing the role of the victim, and people that were also in financial challenges. And so I had to look at my immediate friends and associations and make choices to say, if I want to improve my financial situation and my self-confidence, self-esteem, I need to elevate myself to another level. And so I had to get around different people in my community that were doing well financially, that were doing well in their relationships, that were doing well in terms of self-confidence and self-esteem. That was the first step. Another step is I started reading. I committed myself to reading 10 pages a day of a good book, because 10 pages a day becomes a book a month, becomes 12 books a year. And I found that I'd go to a public library, go to a bookstore, go to a workshop or a seminar and buy a book, read the first chapter, put it down, and 3 or 4 months later get another book, and I'd have all these accumulations of books, but I never got through them. So I would go ahead and just read 10 pages a day of a book, and it just consistently over time, it's the invisible results over time that produce the results.
So those are very positive things. Now, some people might say, that seems counterintuitive. I'm desperate for money right now, looking, and people are looking for work. So you also say that if you have a network on LinkedIn or tagged, we're not promoting a particular one, but to let everyone know so that and not be embarrassed about the fact that you're in need right now.
Absolutely. Key thing is, if you're in debt with creditors, which I have been for financially with financial institutions and personal loans, stuff like that, is create a letter, in email format or text messaging format or written letter, and let people know where you're at. Let people know that you're agreeing and your intention is to repay them back in full. If you owe a lot of money to credit card companies, which I have in the past, call them up and let them know exactly your status of where you are financially. Don't avoid them, because when you withdraw and avoid, it makes the problem even worse and worse and worse. And then the collection agency calls you, or your visual call display, you get this number, you're like, it's a debt collector and stuff like that, so you're going to withdraw and avoid. It just creates more pressure in your life. Just being in communication with people is a key thing.
And certainly in this economy, they're hearing stories from so many people. So if you're proactive in that way, ultimately you'll feel a little bit better in that you're facing it, even if you're saying, I can't do anything right now, but maybe a little bit I can do in the future. Yep. And when it comes to looking for work now, because you also have the spiritual sense of not feeling great during these.
One of the key things is to come from a mindset about being a go-giver rather than a go-getter. When we're desperate and we're the bills are coming in and we're under stress and all that kind of stuff, we just want to go out there and be impatient and sometimes aggressive. The key thing is you want to come from a mindset about being a go-giver rather than a go-getter. And so you want to, what I find is I just get in communication with people through telephone or through an internet social networking website and find out what is the best way to contribute to somebody else's life. And when you come from that mindset, that philosophy of being of service and contribution to other people, there's a thing called sowing and reaping, or the law of reciprocity, where things come back to you. And so I find that when you're out there being a go-giver, go out and volunteer in a homeless shelter, go out and do some random acts of kindness, go out and do some volunteer work in the community, and through meeting other people, doors will start to open up for you. But you got to get off the couch. You can pray, or
don't stay isolated.
Exactly. You got to. Lady the other day told me, she says, "Well, I'll just pray." But I said, "Well, pray and move your feet." You got to take action. And that's the key thing, is whenever things are difficult, it's about moving forward. And you know what? Another thing is get around, have a mentor. Have a mentor or a coach, somebody who's not emotionally attached to you, to help hold you accountable, to help push you through those tough times. Because it's this mind chatter, this negative self-talk in our heads that will really hold us back. Because our brain has 2 primary functions in life: protection and survival. Its job is to protect us and keep us safe. And so whenever we want to step out there and do something, that little mind chatter, that fear, doubt, and worry in our brain is going to kick in and say, who are you kidding? You can't do that.
Right.
It's just overcoming those fears and adversities.
Pushing through. Last thing that you recommend also is that to have 5 people who know you well give you feedback on what they think your ideal career would be.
Absolutely. One of the key things is that sometimes we don't know what our purpose is, or our passion or desire in life. We've been in a career or job for so long, is to text message or email or phone or fax, whatever method of communication you want to use, and ask the 5 closest associates that you have of people, what do you think the best job or career or business I'd be really good at? And for a lot of people, when you do this experiential exercise, you'll be shocked at what the 5 people come up with in terms of a response for you as an answer. I know many friends of mine have emailed me and Facebooked me and stuff like that and said, wow, I never ever thought that I'd be good at that industry or that career or that kind of a job or career.
And it might give you an opportunity to plug into your natural gifts
For
that way.
Because when a woman is working on something she loves, there's that radiance, there's that light, there's that fullness, there's that energy, there's that goddessness in her. When a man is working from his purpose or his passion, desire, there's that confidence in him. There's that self-driven confidence that he has. And that's really when you walk in and a man sees a woman who's got that radiance, that light, that energy, that fullness, that flow, that is attractive. Same thing with a man when he's living on purpose and a passion and desire. And that's what people want. It's that authentic self, right? People want that today. And you know what? It's a first impression. When you meet people, because you're in the people business, people are buying you. They're not always buying your resume, your education. They're buying who you are.
Right. So tap into that core.
Absolutely. Very important.
Darren, thank you so much. Always good tips. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to contact Darren, the information is on our screen. Also, it will be on our website. So thanks again.
Thank you.
We'll have more Bay Area Vista right after this.